The Sparks draft players in the desperate hope that they will soon stop sucking. We're going to give you two big reasons to avoid all those hot, steamy, some might say moist, Rams draft rumors. And there are some reasons to believe that the Kings might actually get past the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos morning report. It is April 15th, 2025, and the tax is just too damn high. But we are going to start off the day with a little bit of optimism. It's always lovely to talk LA sports, and if you enjoy talking about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes and look at the scoreboard, Dodgers 5, Colorado 3. Dustin May looked great, but it's Colorado, guys. Maybe we should tap the brakes a little bit. And the Kings beat the daylights out of Edmonton 5-0. We'll see if there's any playoff implications. We'll talk more about that in just a moment as well. Meanwhile, today, Colorado's at the Dodgers at 7 o'clock. The Kings fly up north. They're playing Seattle at 7:30. What do you say we get to the news? So, with the WNBA draft, for once, we get to talk about actual basketball when it comes to the LA Sparks. Not locker room drama, not racist centers, not how thirsty Cameron Brink is, and it's a refreshing change. It is a refreshing change. Now, I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert on the WNBA. I watch a ton of sports. I've watched the WNBA. I don't find it particularly entertaining, particularly the way the Sparks have face planted for the last 3 years. But I've been getting caught up to speed with some scribes that follow the sport, with some friends who are super duper into the WNBA. And the thing that they are all adamant about across the board is the WNBA draft is the biggest crapshoot in pro sports. More so than any other sport. Because you have no assurance that any of them are going to make the team outside last year of, say, Caitlin Clark. Being high in the lottery doesn't even mean squat. Take last year. LA had 2 of the first 4 picks, right? Now, Rickea Jackson, who was 4th, she had a really solid rookie year. But she wasn't even a starter until the season was halfway over. This was not exactly an impact season for her. It was a good season, right? The other, Brink, she blasts out her knee. Then she becomes more of an Instagram model than a baller. And the Sparks season was like boogie boarding in a tide of raw sewage. It was that terrible. Now, there are 3 rounds. There's no assurance that any of the players that the Sparks drafted are actually going to make the team. But let's take a moment and see who actually can make a difference. Because again, they've missed the playoffs for 3 consecutive years. They've been beset by one dumb controversy right after another. And last season, they were the worst team in the WNBA. And they still couldn't even get the number 1 pick. So, what do you need to know? The 9th overall pick, shooting guard Sarah Ashley Barker, isn't simply a pretty blonde. She's been referred to as intense. Now, little inside baseball for you. When a sports writer and multiple sports writers refer to you as intense, that means they think you're a jerk. Only they don't want to say you're a jerk because then they know they're going to lose in a fist fight to a girl. So, that's the type of player they got. It is a risk. Players like that can absolutely jack up a locker room. But they can also inspire a locker room out of something, what's the word I'm looking for? Fear. Fear. And I think the Sparks could use somebody to put the fear of God in them. Someone who isn't going to put up with her teammates taking their podcasts more seriously than their actual game. Look, Kelsey Plum, the player that the Sparks acquired by trading the number 2 overall pick also plays with an edge. So I think that Plum and Barker are going to get along famously. And I think Barker also hits her threes regularly from all the stats that I've seen. Let this new backcourt bully the rest of the team into playing hard. Let it happen. You can't be the worst team in the WNBA and not expect to get pushed around a little bit. Now, Jackson didn't immediately start last year. I don't think Barker will either. There is a chance, though, that the second round pick, power forward / center Sonia Fegan of South Carolina, will start as a sort of a temporary hire for Brink. They need some sort of post presence, even if it's not scoring, just somebody who can grab rebounds and protect the rim. The third round pick was Layatu King of Notre Dame. I have no assurances she'll make the cut. So, I'm not going to go give letter grades. And I'm not going to sit there and tell you that, oh my God, the Sparks are set. They're going to be dominant next year. The point I'm going to ask is, do these women actually help the Sparks stop sucking? They could, eventually. But the question, how much the Sparks will suck, lies with Plum and Jackson. Because Brink was seen as the franchise's future. We already know what she is. She's just somebody who actually basically is using her basketball career as a way to build a brand. And she's out until June while she rehabs her knee and maybe even finds a desire to play. If you actually watch the WNBA, feel free to let me know what you think. The Athletic was kind enough to remind everybody that the Rams approach the NFL draft differently, and that makes me happy because that means I am not the only one who is relieving myself in the wind. I bring that up as an almost daily reminder that when you see these mock drafts, when some mouth-breathing dipwad posts on their blog about who the Rams are targeting, we just know it. Just keep scrolling. Just keep scrolling. Because from rereading the Rams' approach, which is unique to the NFL, on how to draft, how to scout. Remember, they don't even show up to the Senior Bowl. They just kick back and play Minecraft. Here are the two takeaways. General Manager Les Snead sees picks in the 20s as purgatory. His word, not mine. Jared Verse was the 19th overall pick last year. If the Rams were one slot back, who knows? Second thing to take away. The reason that there is precious little legitimate draft intel to work with regarding the LA Rams is because they don't bring prospects in for a pre-draft visit. You are allowed to bring in as many as 30 prospects and have them, chat things up, maybe run a 40. If you bring a player in, you have to report it to the NFL. And bingo, all of a sudden it's big news. Everybody knows who you're looking at. But you know what you can do without having to report to the NFL, and it's totally legit? You can go visit a player within a 50-mile radius of the player's college, of the player's hometown. You can visit as many of them as you want. So in other words, Sean McVay is flying a lot on Allegiant so that they can keep their data away from the league and away from everybody's prying eyes. That's why you need not trust anybody's mock draft with the Rams. We already know that the Kings will face Edmonton for a fourth consecutive year in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And this is a movie we've seen before. More often than those movie marathons on TNT where they show the same movie on a clip, only much sadder. Would you like to watch Batman v Superman on a loop? I wouldn't, and that's how pretty much I'm looking at this Kings Oilers series. You're begging for anything different. Some sort of plot twist. Well, we have one. We have a plot twist. The Oilers' top defenseman, Mattias Ekholm, will miss the first round series with a lower body injury he's been dealing with since March, according to Edmonton's coach. He's only appeared in 5 games since March 4th. So the Oilers' defense, leaky. Very unintentional pun. Totally hate myself for saying that. By the way, Leon Draisaitl is going to play, or I should say is scheduled to play for Edmonton in the playoffs. So their offense, gimpy. Their defense, suspect. Finally, a chink in Edmonton's armor. I want to give you a brief note on the Lakers that has absolutely nothing to do with the pending playoff series against Minnesota. A few days ago, we talked about how LeBron James became a Ken-bassador. What an awkward word. But that's not even as awkward as the fact that there is a Barbie doll named after him. Hi. The Ken doll that looks like LeBron James. And I just mentioned it in passing because it's a little creepy. Here's what's even more creepy. I didn't know that the James Ken doll costs $75. It doesn't even include a basketball. It's $75. Not that I was going to go buy the thing. I have enough creepy things in my sports collection at home. I'm not running around with a LeBron James Ken doll. You guys are all going to assume that I'm probably doing some very in private. No, I'm good. But $75? Does Mattel even know its own market? $75 just to see if jungle fever might be going on in Barbie's dream bedroom? Really? $75? I mean, couldn't Mattel have sold a Bronny James doll for $1.50 at Ross Dress for Less and see if it works? $75. I've been calling Bill Plaschke of the LA Times Captain Emo since the start of this channel for a reason. And that reason is he never uses reason. It's all about emotion. And by the way, it's not even nuanced emotion. It's base emotions of the human experience, I might add. Not to go like psychologist on you, not to sound like Jordan Peterson. It's the basest of emotions. The extremes of love and hate, good and evil. There's no nuance. There's no wisdom with what Bill Plaschke writes. So, it was less than 2 weeks ago when Captain Emo wrote, "Why can't the Dodgers get to 162-0? They're so amazing." That was less than 2 weeks ago. Yesterday's column, "Invincible Dodgers look very beatable, and that's a problem." Sad face. From 162-0 to very, very beatable. Because they've lost 3 series. Didn't get swept in any of them. It's only April. Season's over, according to Bill Plaschke. Call Fanatics and see if you can get a refund on your 2024 championship gear. We are so screwed. It's in free fall. Who's going to save us? Or, here's another idea. Maybe you could just remember that Bill Plaschke is more emotionally unstable than a cruise ship full of Lana Del Rey fans. Just maybe that's the point. Maybe they are not going to beat the record of 117 regular season wins. And it's just fine. Last year's team pulled out a ring with winning fewer than 100 regular season games. It's just fine. Before the season began, we mentioned that the LA Galaxy would have to play strong defense while waiting for their offensive stars to recover from a litany of injuries, cobble together points any way they can. The defending MLS Cup champs, they're not playing solid defense in the slightest. And how does it impact? Well, it impacts in a number of ways. One of the primary ways is that they are always playing from behind. The LA Galaxy have conceded the first goal in 7 of the 8 MLS matches that they've played. They never lead. Diego Fagundes tied the match with Houston on a free kick on Saturday, reiterated something that I picked up on after week 2. Quote, we need to communicate, unquote. Now look, I'm not qualified to be a Major League Soccer manager. All I'm saying is it's super duper obvious. You see the back line, you see the goalie, they're all watching the ball instead of trying to be aware of what's going on in the entire penalty area. The solution to that is communication, and they're not doing it. Straight and simple. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me. Give me your review on the Sparks draft. Or for that matter, what do you now see with the LA Rams? Because I'm here to tell you, none of us are probably seeing anything. And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day. And thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Cortel Queso production. Take care.